What is the Vetaverse? That is the question that has repeatedly been placed upon me. Today, for this chat, I have used some World Zero gameplay. I recorded this myself. Um, no particular reason why I chose this. I was just doing my daily quests and just as the backdrop for this discussion, because it'd be boring if you were just staring at a black screen. Anyway, getting to the point. What is the Vetaverse? Well, I mean, this would be the Vetaverse fandom wiki, which I'd be leaving in the description. But over my lifetime, I have been asked what it is, right? And I've said multiple things, multiple answers to that. So today, here, this is going to be my answer as to what it is for both people who ask me and for those of you who are genuinely interested. Because if you click on this video, then chances are you are interested, curious, or just accidentally got here. I don't know how you got here, but hey, you're welcome anyway. So, and the Vetaverse is if you're it's like a sub community of Undertale. If you know Undertale, then that's like step one, step numero uno. If you know Undertale, then that's like the very first thing. Now, if you're in the Undertale, if you interact with the Undertale fandom a lot, and you know about its AUs and fan works and stuff, then I don't really need to explain this part to you, but basically, to keep it brief, the Vetaverse is this like alternate hyperverse project that I that me and a good friend of mine, Cherry Picky, made and developed and continuing to develop. That is like separate to the Undertale fandom verses that exist in the space. It's it's like a this mega storyline, mega hyperverse with multiple multiverses to kind of tell stories. Now, the area that me and Cherry Picky usually work on is the Underverse, God, and the Godverse. Those are the two primary multiverses we work on, but we've developed this massive world with functions, rules, like laws of magic, stuff like Titan's energy and Leviathan's energy, which are parts of the Vetaverse that you're welcome to read on if you really want to. Um, yeah, we've developed this like verse with the underverse being where you have all the Undertale related stuff. So that's where you'll find your Sanses, your Papyruses, your Toriels, Undines, and what have you. Mainly Sanses and Papyruses, because there's a whole lot of fan works of those. Anyway, the Vetaverse takes a lot of inspiration from both Shad's Alpha Tale, the original Alpha Tale, elements from Glitch Tale, and various other AU characters that you can find in the AU space. Characters like Dusttale Sands, Nightmare, Dream, Era, Inc. They have their Vetaverse iterations that may not be fully accurate to their actual like characters in the space. So like Dust Vetaverse's Dust Ends and Ink may not be fully accurate to how they are portrayed in or who they are in the fandom, but it would be the Vetaverse's take. So there's plenty of characters. Currently, there's 69 character pages. I don't know why it's that number, but anyway. Currently, there's 69 character pages, each of them with unique characters, ability lists, backstories, and connections, and all these characters exist within the same Vetaverse continuity. Each of them would probably have a part to play in this story, but in terms of the Vetaverse itself, the main story that I'd be working on is its Alpha Tales section. That's where you'll have your, prominent characters like Arrow 4 Virus 4 Infected, Phantom, Actaeon, Astral Mother, and the Astral Father. And these characters I primarily featured in my latest story, as of this video, called The Godverse Wars. The Godverse Wars is basically your entry story. If I were to introduce you to the Vetaverse, right? If you were to step into the Vetaverse for the first time, not really knowing where to go, I would recommend reading the Godverse Wars. Alright, it's a slow burn entry into the Vetaverse's continuity. Well, yeah, it's a slow burn story. It's a slow burn entry, and kind of introduces you to the core Alpha Tale characters of the Vetaverse, which the Godverse was introduced you to its Alpha Tale characters because they are probably the most prominent pieces of Alpha Tale's Vetaverse currently. They are the core characters, and then once you've read the Godverse Wars, and if you really want to, you can explore the character pages and the wikis and wiki pages and all that fun magical jazz. I'm sure there's a whole lot of stuff in here to read if you really want to. Not like I'm forcing you to. You can if you want to. It's up to you. But yeah, there's a lot of. But I don't want to glaze my own thing too much because at the same time it kind of feels like an advertisement, doesn't it? I'm trying to make it not feel like an ad, but yeah. Me and Cherry Picky, we're very proud of what we've worked on. We're very proud of what we are working on, and what we've developed is I genuinely think it's pretty interesting. I wouldn't really know whether it's interesting or not from the perspective of you guys or the community or anything, but I think it's at least worth considering when it comes to something to read. Now, with the Godverse Wars story, there's multiple chapters to the story, and all of its chapters can be read. All of its chapters can be read straight from the wiki. So all of the chapters are on the wiki. On the Vetaverse wiki, you can go under wiki content and then stories and legends. And then under the past area, you have the Godverse Wars. That's where you can find it. And then there's all the chapters there you can read on if you want to. My best friend Barry, you might have heard of him from either my past streams or you've never heard of him. That's fine. He has told me that it's okay. That it's pretty good. Although he is my best friend, so take it for what you will. Whether you think that's biased or not, it's up to you. If you want to read the story to see if he was actually right in that the story is good or not, I personally think it's okay. Not the best story, but okay. I personally think it's okay. But you're welcome to read and see what you think. I'm not a professional writer or anything, so when I wrote these chapters, it's not special or anything, I think. But if you think it's special or not after reading it, then you're welcome to come back to this video and rebut me oh, you're too harsh on your project or something. It's fine. Otherwise, I would be foolish to at least warn you at first that the first chapters of the story, right up to William chapter 9, is pretty slow. What I mean by slow burn, it's pretty but even for a slow burn, I feel like it's pretty slow. So it kind of asks you to be patient. So if you do decide to pick up the Godverse Wars, I do ask that you give it a proper chance. It kind of asks for an investment. I think, at least I think it, because it's pretty slow to introduce and to get right into it. But I guess that's just the part of what makes it so welcoming and why I picked this story as the entryway into the Vetaverse. The fact that the first the first multitude of chapters are pretty slow and takes time to introduce you to this world that we've crafted and its functions, its rules, the storyline, and get it like a general idea of what the vibe is, right? Overall, I think it is definitely worth the read if you're an Undertale fan, and definitely a fan of the AU space. If you're a fan of Alpha and a fan of like emotional stories that stray away from the whole like power focus, because this verse is its stories are very much not power first. Like the Godverse Wars does not focus on power struggles or anything. We focus more on like emotional depth and some complex themes that are portrayed in the story. So if you do dive into the Godverse Wars expecting something like Alpha Tale or the true Godverse with its like sheer power and I am omnipotent thing, then that's not what you're gonna find in the Godverse Wars. It's very much an emotional saga with themes, characters, growth, and like a story to be had. So yeah, if you're, I'd say step one, well, not step one, but first of all, if you're the kind of person who likes Undertale, likes its story, and does want and wants to look for a emotional story like that, then you might not find something as good as Undertale here, but you can definitely find a story with some complex themes in it. While the characters do dive into like godly themes, you'll mostly be finding an emotional story. If you are an Undertale fan who doesn't really know about its AUs, then it's perfectly fine. You can kind of dive into this very well. The story, I think, will tell you what the AUs are or the concept of it, but uh, I mean that's the magic of the story. But anyway, yeah, if you like Undertale and just curious and you generally like emotional complex stories, then it might also be worth a read as well. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have much patience and mostly just wants to read a story where people are badass and they beat people up, because yes, which is fine. I like some of those stories as well. And this might be the wrong place because the story dives into complex themes, but like if you choose to stick with the Vetaverse and choose to interact with it, then we have the Discord, the Discord server that you can find on the in the Vetaverse wiki. There's also the discussions page on the Vetaverse fandom wiki that you can post and interact with, if you will. Um, and other than the Godverse Wars, we have plenty of other stories that are to be written. The Godverse Wars is just a stepping stone into this continuity. There's much more stories to be had. Like as of making this video, I am in the process of writing Rise to Power, which is a story about these two people called Selena and Dex. I won't dive too much into it because this is only meant to be an introduction to the Vetaverse, not really to tell you its characters or anything. But yeah, currently I'm writing Rise to Power, and currently I'm a solo writer because Cherry Picky is very busy with life. And take it for what you will. This, after all, is a passion project. So compared to like Alpha Tail or any of the other verses, you might find slower updates with the Vetaverse. Because currently it's a very small community, not many people interact with it. And I don't want to pretend like it's worth the read and ultra good or anything. So if you want a proper reader from a reader perspective opinion of the Vetaverse, you can go into the Discord server. There's like people there, great people, some pretty good people who are willing to give their opinions on whether it's worth a read or not. I'm the creator of this, so I feel like my opinion would be obviously biased. Other than the Godverse Wars, we do have some stories in the present day that are more grounded and less godly, like Undertale, which is basically our way of trying to dive into what we think happened before the events of the game, as of our continuity. Now, the goal of the Undertale story is to explain the game. If after reading this story you go back to the game and you're like, oh, that's why they acted like this, instead of being like, wait, but this contradicts this. If you can go to the game after reading the story and be like, okay, this makes sense now, then we would have completed our goal. We don't want to contradict any part of the game. Tried my best. I spent years trying my best, but yeah, I'm currently not writing Undertale though. I'm focusing mainly on the past era. I want to focus on one story at a time. Currently on Rise of Power. So currently, as of making this video, there's only one full story released, which is the Godverse Wars, as I previously mentioned. But if you're interested and you want to know more, then you're welcome to read on the wiki. I'll leave it in the description below. And yeah, the intro video. That's it. This is my way of kind of just introducing it. I don't want to lore dump you guys on the Vetaverse or anything, because the lore side of it, I'll let you guys discover, because that's kind of the magic of it, isn't it? But yeah, in terms of its lore, its continuity, its world functions, how it works, and this very complex world that we've crafted. If you're interested, you can go read on, discover it for yourself. There are various wiki pages that may be spoilers to other stories, which I'm pretty sure the wiki will tell you. Not very well, but I'm working on it. And yeah, that's my introduction. Just bear in mind, the Vetaverse aims to be not canon to any animation, story, or project of Undertale's fan works that are currently being worked on or have been worked on in the past. So if there's any Undertale animations or any Undertale stories that were released, it's Vetaverse is not canon to those. The Vetaverse is very much its standalone thing within the subsection of Undertale. So it's not like we're aiming to be canon to Glitchtale, or we're not aiming to be canon to the Underverse animations, or we're not aiming to be canon to anything. We're just its standalone thing. Although you are welcome to bring some of that Undertale AU knowledge into the Vetaverse, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to stop you. You can if you want to, and you're more than welcome to give insight on what you like, what you don't like about the story. Otherwise, yeah. If you choose to engage in it, then see you there. If you don't choose to engage in it, then that's fine. Hope you have a good day, afternoon, or night, and enjoy yourself.